So I read in a prior interview that you said that the walkers are a little bit more human for the prequel. Can you expand on that?
I think one of the things that was important to Robert when he and I first sat down was because it's so early in the apocalypse and because when somebody turns, they seem more human than monster. And so to have our characters, it's physically difficult to kill and it's emotionally, there are repercussions to doing it. So I think we want to continue. We're in a different world now, and most of our cast, most of our characters now understand you don't talk to zombies, and which we tried to do last season. And they will realize that there's this, in order to survive, they have to kill. But I want to hopefully hold on to specifics about, and they do it on The Walking Dead as well, but specifics about the dead, things that tell stories of what their lives were. And I think if we can personalize them a little bit, it has a greater impact on our characters. So that's what I meant by that.
Can we expect to see your character kick some butt this season?
Yes, definitely. I think that's what's also great for the fans. It's definitely, we start to see more of the infected. We start to have a lot more fight sequences, and yeah, Alicia finally gets to kick some ass, which is I've been waiting for.
So I was looking into your relationship with Alicia. It's kind of, your stepbrother, stepsister. But I also read some fan fiction that really wants your characters to get together. Do you think there's a possibility of that?
You know what? The fan fiction isn't really going to go far because, at the end of the day, that's his stepsister. And when it's the end of the world, when it's a zombie apocalypse, you have no time for love. The only thing you have time for is food, figuring out how to live, survive, and how do you take down the infected. So it's hard to grasp finding love in the midst of the end of the world.
Last season, we saw you having more of a laid-back, but kind of like the nice guy. How has your personality changed for season 2?
Yeah, he's kind of the good guy, which is a problem, because good guys die in this world. The guys that are cool are guys like Strand and Salazar. They're ruthless. They've even got a sense of humor about what's happening. And so poor old Travis, he's just trying to figure out how to be a dad. He's trying to figure out how to protect his son, Chris.
So how's Nick's dynamic?
Nice microphone, girls.
Got it going on. How's Nick's dynamic changed in the family now that he's overcoming his drug addiction?
Don't know really. I don't know. I think it's changing. But as every boy growing up, dynamics changes within his family. I think, it's not that Nick is particular. Any 19-year-old boy who goes through a zombie apocalypse will obviously go through changes to do with his mother and father and all that stuff.
And what's the most exciting part about filming in the new location of the yacht and being underwater?
Mexico, Tijuana. Fucking hell, Tijuana is an incredible place. I love it, I really do.
In the season 1, we see you kind of clashing with Travis. How has your relationship changed in season 2?
I think basically we tolerate each other better, and we understand that we have to move. Actually, not just as fingers, but as a hand. That's the new situation forces you to make allies of everyone that is pulling the same way. But also at the same time, Salazar feels the need to comfort and console Travis, who's experimenting a lot of personal problems. And now that he doesn't have Griselda anymore, I think he becomes more aware of the need to empathize. And at the same time, the loss of Griselda is creating a lot of psychological pressures for him.
Yeah, one of the great aspects of the show is the storytelling. So what do you think is the most challenging part of writing about or having a blended family in the show, maintaining that storyline?
That's actually the most exciting part of the show for me because, the scenes that are pitched in the room and the scenes that we write where I can imagine, okay, if the world had not ended, we still could have played that scene, we still could have told that story, and it would have been relevant relative to the old world. Those are the ones that matter the most, and I think we're going to continue to see this very delicate fabric, of this family as they try to hold it together, as they try to survive. It's now exacerbated by the fact that Travis had to put down Chris's mom, and you can intellectualize that, and it makes sense in our world, but it's going to be difficult for a son to accept the fact that his father killed his mother.
valid point. So what was the most exciting part about filming? I heard in this tank, you're surrounded by ocean water in Mexico. What was the most surprising, exciting thing that happened during filming?
I think the most Frank Delane, we were shooting in the tank 1, which is the cold tank. We have 2 tanks, and Frank, the water is so cold that you don't want to be in there. And it was our first time getting in there, and Frank just pushed me in there. Oh no, he snuck and pushed me after I've been in there a few times, but he got me. He got me, Frank.
That seems like something he would do. He seems like quite the character.
Yeah, he's a jokester. He's a good boy.
And so what about your relationship with your dad now that your character of your mom has passed away? How has that progressed this season?
Well, it definitely opens up Chris to a new light in season 2 because he starts off at a dark world. And in season 1, he actually was healing with his wounds with his father. But now that just gets taken up under him, and he has a lot of darkness and rage and anger inside of him that he's trying to figure out the natures and laws of this new universe and where does his dad take place in that.